Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another sports stuff video. Today we'll be talking about the Miami Dolphins and their offseason plan that I have laid out for them. Now this is pending free agents, upcoming free agents that they should sign, and a draft. Since they already have a coach and a GM, I don't have to worry about any of that. So let's get started into their own free agents they need to keep. So offseason moves, pending free agents. Ted Karras at center. His 2020 stats were 2 sacks allowed at the 65.2 PFF. Now, the PFF grade isn't that great, but Ted Karras is a veteran who knows what he's doing. I think he just had a down year. He's not a top 10 center, but he's definitely a center that you can have a stopgap for another year or two. He keeps more continuity on the O line, which is going to be a very big thing in this offense in this offseason. I have them completely redoing their offensive line through free agency and the draft. So having at least Ted Karras at the minimum for next year to keep continuity and to help develop young centers they can maybe draft or sign, I think it's very important. Just developing a center, and he should be pretty cheap. I don't think many teams are gonna go for him. I think he still wants to be a starter, and the Dolphins are one of the only teams that he think that they went 10-6 this year. They're contenders to the playoffs. I think that's what is important to him to be a playoff contender. So I think a 1 year deal to be a stopgap starter, or maybe even a backup if you can get a top rated center somewhere. But Ted Karras, center, I'd give him a 1 year deal. Next up is Matt Haack, the punter. Now, he's one of the best punters in the league, especially young. He's only 27. He punted the fifth most, but he's top 10 inside the 20-yard line, which is obviously, pin him back deep, try and get the ball on their side of the field. I give him a 4 year deal. He was also part of the Jason Sanders amazing touchdown last season, I believe it was, which is one of the greatest special teams plays I've ever seen. Matt Haack is just one of the best punters in the league. He's only 27. I think he wants to stay with the Dolphins. Yeah, I think it's a very good quality. You don't got to spend a draft pick on a punter now. You have one of the best punters in the league. Might as well keep him around. Elandon Roberts, outside linebacker. His 2020 stats were 61 tackles, 8 TFLs, 4 QB hits, 1.5 sacks, and a forced fumble. He's another veteran linebacker who already knows the scheme. He was actually on the Patriots his entire career, but he took a 1 year deal to follow Flores to the Dolphins. He proved play. He's a pretty decent coverage linebacker, and at minimum, he's a good starter, and he could be a very good backup if you can keep him. There might be more teams trying to go for him at this point because he's proven that he's a very good quality linebacker, but I'd give him a 3 year deal. Now, Devin Godeau, I believe is how you say it's a French name. I believe it's Devin Godeau at D tackle. His 2020 stacks aren't that impressive. 16 tackles, 1 TFL, 2 QB hits. He only played in 5 games because he spent most of the season on IR. He's a young defensive starter, and he had 2019 with Flores. He had a career year. I think he's still, one of the best younger D tackles in the league. The minute he becomes healthy again, he's going to be a top 5, top 10 D tackle in the league. I'd give him a 4 year deal, lock him down as much as possible for as long as possible. Just keep him. And I think because he was on IR, you might be able to get him a little bit cheaper. Because if he would have played the entire year, I think this defensive line would have been even better. They had trouble, pass rushing this season, and I think that was a lot because he went down with an injury. But I'm very excited to see Devin Godeau next year back and healthy with the Dolphins, hopefully. Now, offseason moves with signing free agents and trades. Now, I actually did not have the Dolphins attempting a trade at all because their team, you got to build to the draft. They have so many first round draft picks. Unless you can get Deshaun Watson, and the reason I didn't put the Deshaun Watson trade in here, I know I didn't put the trade in here. I got rid of it. I don't want to be in every single video, and I don't know if the Dolphins have enough to get the Houston Texans quarterback. I think the Jets are probably going to get him if he does trade. I don't think they can, but I'm just giving a fair warning. Deshaun Watson is not in this trade video. I'm sorry if you are hoping to see it. If you want to see the kind of package needed to get Deshaun Watson, go check out my Jets video I posted yesterday. But this is the Dolphins. I don't think they should trade for Deshaun Watson. I think they should keep Tua Tagovailoa and to see what we can do with him. He's not going to be in this video. Now, let's get going. Lane Taylor at guard. His 2020 stats were 0 sacks allowed and 81.6 PFF, which is, I believe, top 5 in the league at guard. He's a good veteran lineman. Across the other line of Eric Flowers, who had a very good year. I think this line immediately gets 10 times better with Lane Taylor at the other guard position. That was a revolving door this year. You can draft a guard still, and he can learn and develop underneath one of the best guards in the league. I just give him a 1 year deal. Overpay as much as you want. I think there's no way that the Packers can afford Corey Linsley, Lane Taylor, and Bakhtiari at left tackle. They're gonna have to pay Elton Jenkins eventually. I think Lane Taylor or Corey Linsley aren't on the out. And seeing how Corey Linsley was just an All Pro this year, I think they'd much rather have him than Lane Taylor. So it'll be very interesting to see what they do. But if he somehow slips through the Packers' fingers, I'd go at him with a 1 year deal, maybe even a 2 year deal. He's a little older, but I think he's still one of the best guards in the league. Cam Robinson at left tackle. See, I told you there's gonna be a whole lot of offensive linemen because I believe that's what's their biggest issue is offensive line this year. I think if they could have kept Fitzpatrick and Tagovailoa on their feet more, they could have done better. But it's 2020 sacks with 5 sacks allowed, with a 61.8 PFF grade, not great. He's inconsistent his entire career. He's definitely better than Austin Jackson, who they drafted in the first round last year, who I thought was like a second or third round talent, but they drafted him at like 14 or 15. He can still develop, especially with this great offensive line coach. I forgot his name, but he's one of the. I like him. He's not one of the best in the league, but he's definitely above average. I give him a 4 year deal, lock him down. He's definitely better than Austin Jackson. And in case you need to, I think Austin Jackson is better fit for right tackle. So if you move Cam Robinson to left tackle, move Austin Jackson out to right tackle, you still got your tackle you drafted last year. Or you bench him and he can learn and develop a little bit more and to see how he can develop into the right tackle position. But I thought Austin Jackson was going to be a right tackle when they drafted him, but they moved him to the left side. Anyway, sorry, I'm talking very fast. Cam Robinson is better than Austin Jackson. Get the line a little bit better. Now, the first offensive weapon I have them signing is Corey Davis. He's coming off the best year of his career by far, with 64 receptions for almost 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns. The Titans did not accept his 5th-year option last offseason, and I think that might be part of the downfall of him leaving. He could be defined as a breakout season. He really hasn't. People were considering him a bust before the season, and then he finally had a very solid wide receiver year. He'll be a value. He will be a value signing because players like Allen Robinson, Kenny Galladay, I even think Marvin Jones might get more money than him. I'm trying to think of other wide receivers. Juju Smith-Schuster. I think he'd be cheaper than all those options. He's a young speedster who fits this offensive scheme. I think he's a better Jakeem Grant and a better Preston Williams who are already on the roster. I give him a 4 year deal, lock him down, alongside Devontae Parker. And if you want to draft a wide receiver as well, I think that could be a crazy wide receiver group if they can do this correctly. Hassan Reddick at outside linebacker. His 2020 stats were 63 tackles, 12.5 sacks, which was, I believe, tied for 5th in the league, 6 forced fumbles, and 4 pass deflections. 5 of those 12 sacks came in one game against the Giants towards the end of the season. But in the second half of the season, he really did pick up his production. They're in desperate need of pass rushers alongside Emmanuel Ogbah. If they can somehow get a pass rusher alongside him, I think that can make this defense scary. He can cover okay as well. He's definitely more of a pass rusher, but he definitely isn't a slump in the coverage game. I'd give him a 4 year deal. You can say, well, 5 of those sacks came in one game. He still had 7.5 sacks then, which is definitely top of the league money. Like, if you get over 10 sacks, you're getting paid. And he had 12.5. I would lock him up if I could. Alongside Landon Roberts, Van Noy, and all of them at the linebacker core, I think that'd be a scary, scary group. Finally, I have Marcus Maye. Again, I had him in the Jets video. I'm not gonna say his stats. You already know what his stats are. He'd be a steal because you could steal him from a division rival. Immediately would be the best safety on the team. With Bobby McCain and the safety they signed from the Patriots, I can't remember his name, but he would immediately be the best safety on the team. He deserves a contract with a stellar play, a 4 year deal. Imagine him alongside their stud corners. That would be insane. Imagine Marcus Maye alongside. Imagine Marcus Maye alongside Xavier Howard, Noah Igbenogany, who they actually invested a first round pick in last year, and Byron Jones. That would be a scary secondary to throw against, and I think that's exactly what this defense needs, is a threatening secondary with a stellar pass rush. and they have a lot of cap space. They actually do have a certain good amount of cap space. I don't believe they're in the negative this year, and there are players on their team that can move on from, especially if they draft how I think they should draft. I think a lot of people become expendable. So, now, finally moving on to their 2021 draft, how I think they should do it. Let's see what they do. Now, they have pick number 3. With how I see the board going, it's probably going to be Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields / Zach Wilson. So there's going to be probably 10 plus teams trying to trade the Dolphins with number 3. And I think they should trade it. So with this trade, I have the Washington football team moving up to number 3. They draft either Justin Fields or Zach Wilson. They trade back to 19. They get the 82 as well, the Washington football team's 3rd round pick, and 2 future 1st round picks. I think it's a smart move, and they still, at 18, get a wide receiver in Rashad Bateman. At 19, they get Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who is probably, in my opinion, the best linebacker in this draft. Micah Parsons has a conversation, but I think Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is going to be the best linebacker and probably the number 1 linebacker taken. At 35, I have them drafting their running back finally in Travis Etienne. Levi Onwuzurike, I'm sorry, I mispronounced that. He's one of the better defensive linemen as well. He's more of a nose tackle, and he'll be able to fit this scheme if they don't get Devin Godeau, or if they want to, they can then, do different sets with a 4-3, 3-4 with one of them kicking out to defensive ends. It'll be very interesting to see with the ingenuity of Brian Flores. Creed Humphrey at center. He's a center guard duo. Brevin Jordan at tight end. He now fills in that 3rd tight end slot. And if you want to move off some money, Smythe is, I believe, an $8 million cap hit, and you can move off him and lose no cap hit. You'd be free of $8.5 million. I think it's very smart to move off of him. And then you get Brevin Jordan. Patrick Jones is 2nd at edge. I think he's a steal at 123. I believe that is 360. That's round 4. I've seen other people mock him in round 2. So when I saw him still sitting there at 120, I had to grab him. Cole Van Lanen, just a depth tackle. Same with Michael Maye, a depth center. They could develop into something, but they'll most likely end up being backups. Overall, I got an A, which I'm pretty happy about. I mean, you get 2 future 1st round picks and an extra 3rd round pick as well. You move back, still get a wide receiver, still get a linebacker. You draft a very good running back for your team. You get a defensive lineman. You grab very good depth in the offensive line for the future. A potential starter eventually in Brevin Jordan, and then a good Patrick Jones edge backup. I would probably mock him closer to like a on the Chiefs, what's his name? Capasinoga? I'll put the name up on screen. That's who I would probably mock him close to being. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, please leave a like. Please subscribe. Please comment down below. The Dolphins got, Dolphins got Tua Tagovailoa. I don't know. Let's have the word Tua. Let's have the word Tua down there. If you did enjoy, please subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Hopefully either later today or tomorrow, you'll see the 4th overall pick, the Atlanta Falcons, what they should do with their offseason. If you did enjoy, subscribe. All right, I'm out. Peace. Bye.